Hi, my name is Devin Dinsmore, and I'll be talking to you about the basics of options trading. Here are my keywords. So, too often in today's world, I hear people complaining about losing a lot of money on a singular stock that was supposed to be a guaranteed winner. Going all in on one stock is not exactly smart, and it's just a really risky situation. But there are methods that some very successful investors have developed to mitigate this risk, and one of these methods is options trading. Options trading is a little different than your typical day trading because it's safer of a bet because it allows for more hedging strategies to implement, and you can play with smaller amounts of profit or capital and generate larger amounts of profit. I've been day trading for a little over 2 years now, and I've definitely learned some valuable lessons by benefiting from my failures. I've learned it's really important to mitigate your risk, and diversifying your portfolio by introducing options to them is too great of an advantage to avoid. While I have been trading for a while with options, there was a point where I wasn't using them, and it was during this point that I realized just how dangerous it is to invest in the stock market without a backup plan. At first, when I began day trading, I made the mistake of picking a stock that I wanted to invest in simply because I liked walking into that store. Doing research before picking a stock is crucial if you ever want to make profit. There's really an infinite number of ways that you can invest in any stock, but finding that one technique that you're comfortable with, it's going to come at a price of a lot of experience and unfortunately a lot of failure. That first stock that I picked immediately backfired in my face, and it was at this point in time I realized I was going to have to do a lot more research before picking out a new stock. So after that, I reached out to my father, who's a very experienced and successful day trader, and I was trying to understand him, but it was like trying to understand hieroglyphics. But the one thing that I really was able to comprehend was that it was the value of hedging. I'd always remember the phrase, you need to hedge your bets, but I never knew what it meant or how to do it. It was when I was watching him that I learned how he hedged his bets through the use of options trading and his day trading. From that moment on, I can't really see my future without options trading just because it's such a safe bet and they're that interesting. So you might be asking yourself, what is an options trade? An option, according to Charles Schwab, an option is a contract that gives someone the right to buy or sell a product at a set futures price at a set date. So let's say if I was to invest in Apple with an option, the way I could do that is I could either buy or sell a call or put. According to the CME Group, when you buy a call option, it gives you the right to buy an underlying futures contract at a set price at a certain time, and you also think the price is going to rise with the call. When you buy a put option, it gives you the right to sell an underlying futures contract at a set price, and you think the price is going to go down. Selling calls and puts does vice versa of what I just said, but you can only make a certain amount of premium due to the economic benefit that the other person is receiving, and there's unlimited risk when you're selling calls and puts, so that's why not a lot of people do it. I know everything I just said is really confusing, but I'll explain more in details as I explain why you need to implement options trading into your strategy. As I stated before, options trading brings about unlimited ways that you're able to hedge. Hedging is the number one risk mitigating mechanism because it allows you to lock in a price that you're happy with, and a downturn in the market can affect the amount of profit that you've made. In accordance to an example from Fidelity, let's say I was long Tesla and I was unsure. Long Tesla means I think it's going to go up in price in the futures market. And so let's say that I was unsure what was going to happen to that Tesla stock price in the near future. The way I could hedge my price and lock it in is if I bought a put option in the options market. So if anything negative were to happen to Tesla, the long futures price would drop and my put option would be generating money at the same time. So I've locked in a price in the middle and I'm taking my profit while negative events are happening. The advantages of options are really just too great. There's a lot of upside with options, but I'll only name a few of the advantages. According to Investopedia, the number one advantage that people really see is the amount of leverage that you get with trading with options. One contract is worth up to 100 shares. So let's say instead of buying 200 expensive shares of one singular stock, you could buy two contracts for a lot cheaper and generate the same amount of profit, if not more. Investopedia's second advantage that they see people recognizing is that there's an automatic floor/ceiling when you're playing with options. It's really important to show zero emotion as a trader, but oftentimes people grow emotional ties to stocks and they don't want to let them go and they end up losing a lot more money. But when you buy options, you pay a premium when you buy the contract, and that amount of premium is the set amount that you can only lose. So let's say I buy a put option on Chipotle. I would pay the seller of this contract a premium and add this premium to the strike price, and this would become my ceiling of my loss. But if I were to just short Chipotle in the futures market, I don't have a ceiling and I could lose everything that I own. It's really important to broaden your strategies with options trading, but it may seem difficult. But it's something to learn how to do that. It's only going to save you money. Overall, understanding the process of trading with options is simply a smart way to invest, and being able to properly mitigate it is just easy with options. Not everyone could throw around tens of thousands of dollars in the market, but trading with options gives people that can't do that the opportunity to generate way more profit than they ever could have dreamed of, while risking less. While I have been exposed to the idea of options trading for quite some time now, I still don't really understand them. But even now, I can see how much I'm going to incorporate options trading into my daily routine. Thank you. So the first of the three thought-provoking questions that I have asked is, would it be smart to learn how to trade options through trial and error, or try to learn everything about them beforehand? Well, I would normally say failure is the best teacher. When you're dealing with money, it's definitely not. The way that I did it, I did an introduction to options course through the CME group, where it offers you a full course, quizzes, and everything. And then after you're done with that course, you can go take $100,000 of fake money into a trade simulator that they own, and you can play around with that with the options. And if you're not making or not doing as hot as you'd like, you go back to the courses, review it. So to answer your question, I'd say a healthy mix of trial and error in the simulator and research being done in the courses as well. The second question that I got asked is, how does selling options contracts differ from buying options contracts? To keep it simple, buying calls and puts. When you buy a call, you think the stock price is going up and you pay premium beforehand. Buy a put, you pay premium, then you think the stock's going to go down. The premium that you pay is going to adjust the break-even price that you have to hit in order to start making profit. The seller of the contract is getting paid that premium, and as long as you don't hit the break-even point, they'll be making money. But there's no ceiling past the break-even point for the buyer, so that's the unlimited risk that sellers face. But they get that premium as compensation for the economic benefit that you're getting for the no limit. And then the third question I have is, how long do most options contracts last, and do they normally expire? Most options contracts last probably a week or 2 weeks, but they can go out as far as 5 to 6 years if you really wanted. Just the amount of time span that you have in between the expiration date. If it's 5 to 6 years, you're going to be paying a higher premium just because it's uncertain what's going to happen in that time period. And then, no, they do not normally expire, because most of the time people will own a contract and then get out as fast as possible because no one wants to exercise, because the whole point of options is that you don't want to be in the futures market. And if you do exercise, the call option that you had now turns into a long position in the futures market, and the seller has to maintain, or is obligated to have, a short position in the futures market, which is also on top of the unlimited risk that they face. So if the stock is shooting up, the seller is getting destroyed, you're making a lot of money. But to answer your question, no, a lot of the time they do not reach expiration, and options they could go out 5 to 6 years, but typically 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a week.